Hawk Squawks Podcast. Hello and welcome to our second ever Hawk Squawks Podcast. The episode in which we give 7 more fantastic individuals the opportunity to provide the much needed student voice on topics that affect us every day. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing something very important, and that's what goals, dreams, and careers are, and how their 211 experience and their experience specifically at Hoffman has helped and or made more challenging their focus on the future. So we're going to start things off today with some brief introductions. Obviously, I am Mr. Lowrey, Department Chair and Band Director here at Hoffman Estates High School, and I am joined by
Miss Thomas, art teacher here at Hoffman.
And now we're going to take the time and just give these wonderful students the chance to introduce themselves and give us a little feedback on what, if they can remember, was the first job that they ever wanted as a child. So we're going to get things started right away. Thanks, guys. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Mikey. I'm a senior. First job I could think of wanting to be when I was younger was probably paleontologist.
Hi, I'm Abby Frank. I'm a senior, and the first job I ever wanted was in kindergarten. I wanted to be an author.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a sophomore, and the first job I ever wanted was, I think it was a lawyer.
Hi, I'm Ashley Oliver. I'm a junior, and the first job I ever wanted was definitely to be a doctor.
I'm Adele. I'm a senior, and the first job, I think, literally was like a pizza worker, just like making pizzas. Not even like a privately owned store, just like a Pizza Hut or something.
Hi, my name's Trent Rosson. I'm a senior at Hoffman Estates High School and being a U.S. Army Ranger.
Hello, my name is Antonio. I'm a freshman, and the first job I wanted to do was, I think, stand-up comedy, but that was rather short-lived.
Speaking from experience, I think you still have a bright future in the stand-up comedy realm, Antonio. And first job I ever wanted, I remember as a little kid, I wanted to be an astronomer. How about you, Miss Thomas?
You know, I think the first job I ever wanted to be was a brain surgeon.
Yeah, so I mean, I went from like astronomer to then I wanted to be a paleontologist, quite interestingly, and then suddenly music was my calling. So now I wanted to just get an idea of like where you are currently. What careers are you currently interested in, and why?
Architecture, because one, I just like knowing the fact that like if I were to build something, I could later down in my life, I could be like, I remember building that, and then everyone else might just think like, oh, it's just another building. But in my mind, I'm thinking I built that, I did that. And that's like basically a part of like history in like its own way, I guess you could say.
I want to join the military. My whole family has at least been in multiple wars, and I'm just, I guess, another piece of the puzzle.
Lately, I've been interested in a profession of being an editor. I mean, I don't mind writing, but I think a big part of it is being able to read somebody else's work and see like all the care and stuff that they put into it, but be able to polish it and just like make it a little bit better.
I feel like I really struggled for a while finding something that was really like specific to my interests. But in taking different classes, I really enjoyed psychology and data analysis. So I've been really driven lately to industrial organizational psychology, and that's what I plan to study now in college.
Yeah, similar to Abby, it took some time to just like fully find out that I wanted to go into a music career, specifically with education. Despite being around music a lot of my life and just having a general passion for it, I think like finally getting to Hoffman and understanding that like music is more than just playing music. I guess there's an environment to it as well, and an atmosphere that like it's unlike anything else that I want to be able to continue to help other students be involved with as well.
For me, I always knew I wanted to work in the medical field. About a couple years ago, after I hurt my knee, I realized that I always wanted to be a surgeon. I started looking more into orthopedic surgeon because they work with, knees, hips, shoulders, and everything like that. And they get to be really involved with athletes. So that's what I want to do.
Fantastic.
I kind of want to go into the field of education, and that was always a very vague topic for me. I knew I kind of had a very vague idea of what I wanted to do in education, but now this year that I'm taking geography, I figured I'd like to do social studies education because that is something I do think that I am passionate about, and I would like to project my appreciation for it on other folks.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Mr. Lowrey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Just kidding.
I don't know yet. I'm still figuring it out.
How has your experience at Hoffman helped you determine your path as an individual student?
I would say that I'm really grateful for all the teachers that I've had who sort of helped me discover what things I'm really interested in. And specifically in a class like AP Research that I took sophomore year, I really loved that class because one of the things that we got to do the whole year was sort of dedicate ourselves to our own project that we were curious about. And in doing a psychology-oriented project and collecting my own data, I realized like this is something that I really enjoy. Is there a career for that? And I got to talk with like my counselor too, and just having people who are there to help guide you when you don't fully know what you want to do, but you know what you're interested in was really helpful for me.
For me, for sure, it was the teachers, like Abby said. I have a huge appreciation for all the staff members at Hoffman. And it wasn't even just like the music directors at Hoffman that helped me figure out like, oh, music is definitely what I want to do in my future. The experiences along with the students as well at Hoffman, the memories that I've been able to be a part of and create, and also just having this opportunity from teachers to be a leader and work with underclassmen now that I'm an upperclassman, now that I'm a senior. It's unlike anything else.
I've always had a little bit of a problem trying to figure out stuff on my own, and I've always looked towards the teachers to try and help me with that. And I feel like the teachers were like the biggest help for me. I feel like the teachers were the main reason why I kept coming to school, because they were always there if I needed something, or if I had a problem. It was so easy to figure out. It was right there, smack dab on the table. Hey, I'm being worried about all of a sudden.
So my experience at Hoffman has helped me because ever since I was little, I tried to be in as many things as I could, and I still try to be just as involved now. But it really taught me how to narrow down on what I think is really important to me. And if I can pick 3 or 4 things that are my top priority, I can try to be the best I can at those.
Like he said, the teachers are the main reason why I come to school, because they're there for us and they just want to see us succeed and go down the right path.
So was there anything that made it more challenging to determine your path? It sounds like mostly positive, like the teachers seems like the overwhelming response to like what made it, made it easier for you to determine. Were there any challenges in determining that were presented when you got to high school?
I would think Ashley's advantage she talked about was a bit of a disadvantage for me. There are so many sort of extracurriculars and things that you want to be involved in, and you try to dedicate yourself as much as you can, but at a certain point you sort of have to realize that you're going to have to pick and choose. And as difficult as that is, it's like you're sort of determining your own path in a way, and that's sort of harder than when somebody else tells you like what they think you're good at or what you might enjoy doing, because when you have to make those choices yourself, you have to really think about what's important to you. So that was difficult.
I agree with Abby and Ashley completely with that. I feel like there are so many times where being involved in as many activities helped with figuring out what I enjoyed doing as a student and potentially as a career path, but also having to prioritize with time between different activities. Like I'll be at debate practice and then all of a sudden I like can only spend 30 minutes there and I have to go to lacrosse, and then I have musical, and it's really hard to then figure out, I enjoy all these things, but how do I time manage?
I wasn't really the kind of student that went to clubs or whatever. I just decided to go and do my work and then turn it in, and then I get to do what I want. One of the biggest challenges that I ever had to face while going to Hoffman was the part where the teachers specifically said they can't help me as much as they used to anymore.
Kind of going off what Trent and Adele said, me too, my junior year, my teachers would tell me like, you're about to be a senior and I can't be walking you through everything how you would as a freshman. And that started made me realize I need to mature, because once I get into the real world, I can't have someone to hold my hand to, remember to pay your taxes, remember to pay your car bill. I need to do that on my own.
I definitely agree with that, Mikey, especially with burnout and stuff like that. Definitely, with having rigorous academics on top of having, 3 to 4 clubs that you're actively participating in. It's it's a lot. It's nice to have a wide array of selections, but that also leads to just trying to fit everything that you can, and it sometimes it doesn't work out. At least for me, it didn't, and I had to, select and pick and prioritize. But yeah, definitely, I think having an array was both an advantage and a disadvantage.
A rather large disadvantage for me was that, since starting my first year on the Zoom, that sure was quite the transition. And also, I kind of blame my ignorance to a lot of things going on, because I wanted to join chess this year, but I didn't know. I don't know if anything was sent out about that, but I place the blame on not joining on my ignorance. A big part of it for me is just not knowing, because I don't actively check a bit. I think a big problem with me is that I don't actually go out of my way to do things. So if I don't go out of my way to do that, I don't do anything, and that really limits my options as to what I can do. I don't. If I keep on being ignorant, then I kind of just back myself into a corner with what I have now. I never try anything new, and then here I am stuck with doing something I don't want to do.
Even though it was an advantage of high school where you get to narrow down to a couple of things, it really did kind of hurt letting some of those things go that I've, learned to love over the years. And as the years go on and as I get more serious about, my different sports and academics, I had to keep letting more things go, and it hurts more and more every year, the more committed you are to it. But it does teach you to have an open mind, when it comes to, well, maybe this class would be a better class for me to take for my circumstances, or, maybe this is an interest that takes less time, but it's just as, therapeutic for your mind as something that you had to let go. But it really does teach you how to manage your time.
I just as a quick, hands up, who in here plans to go to college, like a 4-year university? Okay. Who plans to take a gap year? A gap year, pause before you go into college? Who thinks that they're going to go to either something like Harper's College or go to get their associates first before they go to a 4-year university? How many of you have a college fund? I have a college fund. You know that your parents have got your back. Okay. Maybe. All right. I just wanted to ask a couple of these questions because it's interesting to see where you guys want to go and maybe what your opportunities might be and what they might not be depending on your own circumstances, if that makes any sense. What's up with you, right? It's interesting to see anyone, but I always say dream big because, you can fail at something that you don't want to even do, right? You could go be an accountant, but you're like, oh, I hate that. You can fail at being an accountant, but as long as you're doing something that you're passionate about, you should always go for it. How can we, as the Hoffman community or as our Hoffman teachers or anyone here, help you determine your path as a student? How can we help you figure out what you want to do with your future?
I personally feel like you guys do a good enough job. I mean, it kind of falls onto the students if they don't want to push for it in a way.
I would just say that as teachers, I really appreciate, because luckily I have teachers that are really passionate about what they are teaching. But, as long as the teachers keep showing how much they love their subject, I think it helps students be able to make the best decision possible when it comes to what career path they want to go down. If I see all of my teachers having the same level of interest, I'm not just basing what I like on because that teacher is more passionate about their subject than another teacher. It's because all my teachers are interested in their subjects, and this is the one I still like the most.
I would agree that a lot of the passion for what you want to do and discovering that path falls on your own shoulders, because only you know yourself that well and can really decide those big steps. But looking more specifically, this year earlier, applying to colleges and things, it was already difficult this year because of outstanding circumstances. But just in understanding sort of the options that I had that I sort of didn't realize earlier on, applying to scholarships and getting help with things like that, it's something that I sort of wish I knew about sooner, because as I was looking into these different opportunities and ways that you could get credit and money for different schools, a lot of them are aimed, even you can start as juniors or earlier. And so I sort of wished that I had more access to that earlier, because I would have maybe pushed myself to try a little harder then and get some of the work started so that it wasn't sort of all at once, it felt like.
I'd like to build off what Trent said and how the teachers do help, but there's only so much help they can give you, because I feel that a good chunk of being in high school is that you should be able to find yourself and really know what you want to do, and the teachers are there to kind of guide you. But like I said, there's only so much they can do before they just start holding your hand, because what's the point? What are you there if you're not doing anything for yourself? So,
full disclosure, I didn't know what I wanted to do fully until I was like, I don't know, 25-ish, somewhere around there. I thought I knew at 12, then I thought I knew again at 18, and then I thought I knew again at 25, and then I didn't start teaching until I was almost in my 30s, actually. So I was okay with that ambiguity. It was just like life's just kind of this weird adventure. You kind of figure it out as you go in some kind of ways. But not a lot of people share that same sentiment and feel self-conscious because they may not know what they want to do for the rest of their lives. Yeah. So I want to just take a quick second and get your perspective on like a student that doesn't know, like what kind of advice you give a student that just doesn't know yet what they want to do with the rest of their lives. What would you say to them to like, just in terms of like bits of advice?
The future is called the future for a reason, and that you can't really plan out the future. I mean, it's good to like try and explore your passions and stuff that you like, or even just stuff that you're good at, like finding something that you're good at, or then versus something that you like, I guess, is helpful. But it's also not that good to have like an explicit plan to like do this and this and this and this, because it's not going to go that way like ever.
I kind of wanted to go off of what Sarah said, because I totally agree. The future is completely unpredictable. And I think it's really important that you try to keep every door open that you can for as long as you can. Don't close off any opportunities, because you never know which one will end up being the right one for you in the future. So, if you like this sport or like 3 different sports, try to do them all until you get to a point where you can start narrowing it down, because the more options you have, the more routes you have if you feel like you're stuck somewhere.
Don't force it. This year, I've seen a lot of my classmates who are like deciding their careers and what they want to study and things like that. And there's so much outside pressure from parents or teachers or all these different people who are sort of giving you their opinions on what you want to do. But in the end, it's what you want to do, not what they want to do. So you sort of have to pick what's right for you and sort of use that opinion from other people and use their perspectives to guide you, but you can't let anyone else make those decisions for you.
You're only in high school and you still got a whole chunk of your life still to go. So don't try to determine your life at this moment and try to strictly say, oh, after high school, I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Because once you don't meet those goals that you wanted to, you're going to be lost and not know what to do. It's okay to not know what you want to do.
Kind of similar to what Ashley was saying, putting yourself out there is extremely important in terms of trying to find what you want to do. And each student is very different. You might find yourself in a position where you might want more guidance in trying to figure out a career path, and that's completely fine. Whereas other students might like that ambiguity. There's a lot of personalities here that appreciate that. But if you're a student that it doesn't matter if you're a freshman or even a senior and you're kind of struggling and you want something to do and you want to find something you're passionate about, look into like your normal life as well. It doesn't have to be like a class you're taking or an activity at school. If there's something that you enjoy doing at home and you think you can just have a successful career with that and enjoy it at the same time, there's no reason why you shouldn't think about a possible path that you can go into within that specific realm. And also generally, like, there's a lot of opportunities to look into career tracks that the school provides. I mean, like, as a senior, I'm not sure if like the underclassmen get it as well, but like there's always a Schoology post that's like put out about certain career tracks, like Zoom links that you can go to and learn more about something that maybe you've heard about and you want to know more about.
Adele, I think that's great advice. One of the things, so Mr. Lowrey was mentioning about how he wasn't quite sure what he wanted to do. If you don't believe me, I didn't want to be an art teacher my whole life. I ended up going to get my associates at my community college because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I wasn't like going to be like, I'm going to spend bunches of money, especially since I had to pay for it myself. So what I ended up doing, which is kind of what Adele's speaking of, is I went back and I found out things that I wanted to do by experiencing them and by going and trying them. So I asked my art teacher, my old art teacher back in high school, if I could come and hang out and observe the day or observe what was going on in the class. I also participated in a little indie film that I was able to be a part of. And it was awesome because I thought I wanted to be a director and I thought I wanted to maybe go into teaching. And then I also thought I wanted to be with technology. Now I can't even think of it because I don't want to do it at all. But it was an opportunity for me to make money. And like, I was like, okay, well, I have all these options for me, but what am I really truly passionate about? And what I encourage you all to do is maybe try those things. Like if you want to go and go into something with culinary, like go take a culinary class. Or if you want to do engineering, go take an engineering class. A beautiful thing about high school is there's so many a variety of things that you can try. We have a ton of different options and classes here for you. When you get to college, it's expensive to do those classes, but in high school, it's free. You know, it's kind of cool. It's kind of a great time to try out things that maybe you wouldn't normally do and see if that is your cup of tea or not. But with that being said, trying to figure out what you want to do is kind of difficult, right? It's very difficult to figure out what you want to do. What is one thing that you absolutely knew that you did not want to do?
I never really saw myself as being a doctor for people. Like a doctor in general, maybe, but for animals. So I'd be a veterinarian.
I absolutely would not like to work with children younger than, I want to say maybe fifth grade or younger. Small children annoy me. I find them quite disgusting and rather unpleasant to deal with. I am an only child and have never had to deal with anyone really younger than myself. So I don't think I'll be very good around any small children. I'm not now, and that's maybe something I should work on, but as of now, I don't plan on changing this. I don't want to work with small children. They get to me.
I couldn't just let him say that without connecting entirely. I could not teach little kids. I said the only people I would teach would be college students after I've been a surgeon for a while. I would teach other surgeons. That's about it. They're serious about what they're doing. I have a level of patience, but I just don't think I could handle it. I really don't. And I wouldn't want to break those kids.
This is kind of random, but like I love cooking and baking at home, like for my family or for myself. I would never want to be a chef though. I think like the pressure of having someone judge something that you love doing, like I wouldn't be able to handle it.
As of late, at least, being a politician sounds like it would kind of suck a lot. Just because there's so many opinions out there of just every multitude of everything, and it's just like if you say like one thing, everybody's just gonna be like, no, that's wrong, or there's no support anywhere, and it's just no. I cannot handle the stress at all.
I'm feeling that, Sarah. What do you think, Mikey?
Kind of what Abby was saying, like being any kind of chef or cook, because from experience, I'd be at home, I'd cook something, I think I did really good, and one of my family members would be like, you know, it's a little dry, or like it looks a little undercooked, and I feel like I went from here to, dang, that kind of hurt.
I'd like to disagree with Sarah. I think the best job you could possibly have right now is being a politician, because you get that sweet COVID money, that sweet tax money, and a nice little Chicago flag face mask.
I'll give it to the man. He took a dub. I'll give it to the man. He took a dub.
Yeah.
You know what he's talking about. He took the dub.
Adele, what are you thinking?
I mean, yeah, being a politician would definitely suck. There's a lot of other ways where you can advocate for just like general, welfare that's better for your constituents. But also another job that I could never do is something that's just very like receptionist-y, like you work in a cubicle like all day.
All right, so the name of the podcast is Dreams, Goals, and Careers, obviously. And I thought an interesting take on this is when dreams and careers overlap. So my question to you, and this is a little more thought-provoking, is your dream of the future the same as the career that you have chosen? And why or why not?
No, mine isn't. I guess one of my dream is to like be able to like creatively do art with my own freedom and be able to like be good enough for it. But the problem with that is that, one, I don't think I'm cut out for it with critiques and stuff like that, but also I don't think I have the skill for it. And like painting and stuff, I don't think I'm good enough for it. So
Shut up, Sarah. Sarah's fantastic.
My dream, like actual dream job, was to become a veterinarian. I've been wanting that ever since I was in second grade.
Abby, is your dream of the future the same as your career path chosen? Why or why not?
I absolutely think that the career I've chosen is a big part of my dream for the future, but I don't think that a career can really encompass the entirety of what I want to do with my life. There are a lot of other like dreams that I have that sort of go into who I am and who I want to be. I want to be able to travel, and I want to be able to maybe have a family one. Like there's lots of different things that sort of play into that. And so I feel like picking a career that suits you is really important because you have to be happy in what you do. And I really love the career that I've chosen. I think it's going to be an amazing choice for my future, but there are also other things that are really important to me, and I can't like put those lower than the career I'm picking.
My dream used to always be, like I want to save people's lives because I wanted to be like an ER surgeon and, all that sort of thing. But I started to realize that I feel like my passion lies more with restoring hope for people, because when I had an amazing orthopedic surgeon, and, like I'm back playing sports, like at the higher than the level that I was at before. It wasn't my dream at first, but my dreams started to shift. And there's just so many little things that I want to do with my life, like Abby said, that it's not my whole dream, but it's definitely a really wholesome part of it.
My dream of the future was to be a paleontologist, but then I soon realized my career path that I'm choosing is way different than what that would have been, because my main goal is to be, not trying to set it in stone, but is to be an architect, because one, I'm good with math and numbers. At the same time, I'm decently good at art, so like it goes hand in hand.
I mean, I think that ultimately what I envision like in the future for my dreams and careers and goals, they all tie in with each other, but it's not like Abby, Ashley, and Mikey have all said, it's not like exclusive to each other. I think like the ultimate dream would just like be off the grid, live alone, just have like my own garden, all these different things like that.
This is the last question. We are coming to a close. You all did such a fabulous job, so thank you so much for everything. So the last question is, if you could get paid to do one thing that you currently do in your free time, what do you wish it could be?
Work out, fish, or play video games.
I don't know. I'd say maybe $2.50 for every piece of my mind I give to whatever I see. And then another 50 cents to make an even 3 every time I laugh at it.
The obvious answer would be like playing my flute for like commissions for art or something. But I think like honestly what Trent was saying about like video games, I think that would be like the ultimate thing to get paid to do.
I've been rock climbing on a team since I was like 12 years old, and I really love it, but it's expensive, especially if you want to go on like outdoor trips and stuff. And so to be able to get paid to do something that I already love and then use that money to actually pay to continue doing it would be pretty cool.
If I could get paid to do something like coach a team, like coach a college team, I feel like that would be really, really cool, especially if it was a girls team, because then they could, hopefully be inspired by what I did through college or, through high school and college.
Just like getting paid to like hang out with friends, or like just getting paid to sleep. I'd literally be sleeping and making money.
To watch movies, because I watch a lot of TV shows and movies.
If I could get paid to eat, I'm telling you, getting paid to eat sounds like a dream.
I want to get paid to watch TikTok. I've got a problem.
It was like ching, ching.
Oh, like $10 a video? I'd be like, oh.
Thank you, everyone, for being a part of the Hawk Squawks podcast today. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate your vision, your insight, your honesty, your vulnerability. All would just speak volumes about the people that you are. And this information just goes such a long way in helping our community understand the student experience here at Hoffman. So we greatly appreciate your time, and we look forward to the release of this, and I hope you enjoy it as well. So thank you to the audience for tuning in. Thank you to everyone who's made this possible. Thank you to the Hawk Squawks podcast team. Later, everybody.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Stay classy, San Diego.
We're also leaving? Okay, bye.
Hawk Squawks!
Hawk Squawks Podcast.
Hawk Squawks Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember you are a member of the Hoffman Estates Hawks family. If you're experiencing troubles during these times, we'd like to provide you with some local and national resources that you have available to you at any time. You can also feel free to reach out to any teacher or trusted adult.